There it went. I was catching the last bit of it in my headphones. The last
The-
little crackle.
You look like you are like a DJ or something with your.
Thank you.
But that's the thing. That's the look now. I don't like overhead.
I have
Headphones.
always done. You must contest to this. I have always had
Yeah, that's
big
true.
clunky headphones. Even in college, I had oh my gosh, my favorite pair of headphones. These ginormous Sony over the ears. They were probably an inch taller than these, and these
Yeah.
are fairly large. And they had the best auxiliary cable on it because it had to be like 15 feet long on it. Like I could stand up from my computer and walk around my dorm room and still be connected.
Did you do that on the regular?
Well, I mean, if I got to get up and go get something and I don't want to take my headphones off, then yeah, absolutely.
Well, let me
But
ask you this: the thing I don't like about them, and I don't know if I just have big ears, but I don't like that they push my ears down, pinned up against my head all day. Because then when I take them off, it's like, oh gosh, my ears hurt. Does your ears? Does it like go over your ears? Those like does it sit over
they don't go over my ears as much as those Sony's that I mentioned did, and they don't go over as much as my my like gaming headset that I used to wear on the show. But they're still large. But they also have a two-way pivot, so they pivot this way and then they pivot front and back, and so I can just pivot forward like this, and it opens up in the back, and it doesn't even touch the back of my ears if I need like relief or something like that. But I get what you're saying. Like you don't want like your ears pushed on and stuff like that. But I also sometimes just do one ear like this. That way I can actually hear what's going on around. Otherwise,
well, that's what I like about these. They have the noise canceling, the AirPod Pros, and you can turn the noise canceling on and off.
Yeah.
So then I can be aware of my
You're the
surroundings.
low profile. So like I can even see right now, like straight on. I can't even see that you have anything.
Yeah, I know. And then I turn and I'm like, wham.
But
I do want the over ear.
Yeah.
What are they? AirPod. I don't know.
You just want it because it's Apple.
I do.
I said it.
No shame.
But I think I think for you though, how many times a day do you have to disconnect and reconnect? Like how many calls are you like?
Do you know?
We're like, oh, no, this is Zack. Hold on, he gets his case.
Do you know why though?
Hold on. I can't hear. Hold on, I can't hear you. Hold on. Snap. Open snap. All day long.
Yeah, my case.
It really is several times a day, and I don't envy that.
Not well. The problem is it's connected to my phone. It's connected to my wife. Well, sometimes she's got her own, but sometimes when she has misplaced hers, she'll ask if she can borrow mine. And I'll say yes, and now it's connected to hers, and we have this whole problem often where even if she has hers on, I'll put mine in, and it'll automatically connect to her and kick hers off. And then but I mean I connect it to my Apple TV, like all this stuff, so it's super handy. But I think because there's so many things trying to connect to, the connectivity is wacky. Because what throws it off, well, I mean I have Bluetooth everything, like my computer, my laptop, my mouse, I have a trackpad, I have my phone.
I've started to reel in the amount of Bluetooth I have. So like my new keyboard is corded. So the only Bluetooth device that I have that I use regularly is just my mouse at this point.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I should scale back.
I have the earbuds, but I don't really use them hardly ever. Like when I'm putting the kids to sleep and I'm like listening to something, I might have them on. But other than that, I really don't use them because I prefer this. But
are there Bluetooth boosters where it would eliminate some interference? There's got to be something. I'm gonna have to look it up later. Let's get on to the show. Oh, just want to have to mention.
What's that over your shoulder?
It's my Georgia Bulldog.
Is that a Georgia Christmas tree?
It's my Georgia Bulldog Christmas tree. It's been a little while since we recorded, so I just have to point that out because
Why is that? Why is that important, Zach? What just happened?
I hope it's not 41 more years before another one happens.
Oh my
I'm not
gosh!
going to
What
tell
a
you how
game!
old I will be. Yeah, no.
What a
We don't need to
season!
go
What a
into that.
season! What a season! What a game!
All I gotta
Oh
just
my
say
gosh!
is
What a time to be
all I have
alive!
to all I have to do is say good. All I have to say is go dogs. That's it. We'll leave it there. We'll just leave it there.
Oh my
So
gosh!
here's what we're going to talk about today. This is
Yeah,
why people are here.
yeah.
Not about our headphones and Georgia Bulldogs.
I'm 97% sure they're here for the banter.
Yeah, that's probably true. So we're going to talk about when to do a job for the exposure
Mm-hmm.
and when to stick to your prices. Is
Okay.
there a time to have a loss leader?
Yeah.
Is it when is that? When are the times to do that? Is there
Mm-hmm.
a time to do it? Is there not a time to do that? What would we suggest based on some of our experiences
Mm-hmm.
for people to do?
Well,
And you know we've done this before.
Mhm.
We've had this happen to us before.
Yeah. So let's unpack that real quick because the term loss leader is a fun one. Because it's used.
I was just triggered by you saying unpack this. I had somebody that would say that all the time, and I just cringe.
When I hear unpack, I just think unpack my adjectives. What do you think about that?
But when you when you come home from a trip though, do you actually sit down and unpack everything? No,
yes.
usually sits in the really? We don't do that. It usually sits in the corner for at least 2 weeks until we start pulling stuff out of it, and then eventually over that 2 weeks because you need that stuff.
Yeah. I feel like I used to be like that. I mean, I'm like very unorganized about a million other things, but when it comes to travel and making sure, I am the one who unpacks the entire car. I bring all the clothes upstairs. I take them out and I do a wash.
So you're saying Jennifer is like me and my wife.
In between. I don't know she's gonna wait 2 weeks. She's probably got clothes in there. She's like, I think I need these clothes. But yeah,
well, no, we're getting stuff out of it. But anyways, let's unpack it.
So loss leaders. This is the term that I love because I heard a story, I don't know, fairly recently, I think, about Costco, I believe. Costco Sam's, one of those big box bulk surplus stores. But their loss leader, or in other words, their item that they sell that they are selling at a loss, because they're going to get people in the door and they're hopefully going to make their money back on X, Y, and Z other things. Their loss leader is the rotisserie chicken, because it's sold very cheaply, and it's good and people buy the heck out of it. Like we went grocery shopping at Sam's, I believe, several weeks ago, some point over the holiday, and went into the store right after they opened, and the guy in front of me had 18 in his cart. He had literally 18 entire rotisserie chickens. Now, granted, he was probably a restaurant, which is...
I'm missing all of this. Like I don't know. I've never heard of this. Like,
yeah, man.
I didn't know it was that good.
Well, I don't know if you know if it's that good. I think it's just I mean, it is good because they are larger chickens, and it's a good quality chicken, and it's inexpensive. And they do that because they know that if you get you into the store, literally to the farthest back corner, so you have to walk past the aisles of random things. You have to walk past the office supplies. You have to walk past the
other meat counters,
the
cheese,
clothing, the
toilet paper,
tech stuff. You have to walk past the fruit and all that stuff. You literally go to the very back corner of the store to get that. Well, what do you have to do to get back to checkout? When you have to walk back across the entire other side of the store, because you go in this side and you go back to the other side. So it's very good business, but because they get you in, and that's their loss leader. They're okay with taking a loss, and I think it's to the tune of like probably millions of dollars that they take a loss on that product specifically, across all their stores. But in turn, they have people who are purchasing so much more, that they're going to make their money back on. So the idea of a loss leader is really cool, and I think it's something that's applicable to every other business. I know that I don't know why it's poultry. Actually, kind of made me a little upset when we bought our turkey at Thanksgiving, and it was so cheap. It was as cheap as it was, and I was like, I didn't even eat it. I felt that bad because I was like,
You
I
bought
feel
it
that
because you did.
no, I bought it for the family. So like
Okay.
the family ate it. I felt personally conflicted because I was like, this turkey grew up and lived an entire life in order to be on someone's Thanksgiving table, and this 18-pound turkey cost $8. And I was like, that really bothered me. But feelings aside, that was Publix, the grocery store that I was shopping at the time. That was their loss leader. And again, it was a product in their meat department in the very back corner of the store. And people go to the store. They're okay. I got to go get my turkey for Thanksgiving or whatever. So they go to the store, and on your way to there's all the different products that you're going to get for your Thanksgiving meal. And on the way back, there's all the different things that you pass. And so there's the thought behind a loss leader, and it's not always just chicken and turkey. If you sell something for cheaper, and in this case, cheaper than it even costs to buy the product, if you sell it for cheaper or for nothing, the hope is that you're going to get a return because you made a customer by going cheap. And in some scenarios that works. So for like those retail environments, that works. But for freelancers and entrepreneurs like ourselves, I don't know if the loss leader in every business is actually a good thing. I think it can probably hurt you.
Well, it depends. I think if you're starting out, it's really easy to fall into the trap of, well, let me just do this for the exposure. Like I said in the beginning, like they're promising me they're going to connect me with X, Y, and Z people. And I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying just be,
or as an artist, like how do you rationalize it to yourself? What are you going to say you're going to do with it? Where are you going to put it?
Put what
in your portfolio? Like, oh, I'll put it in my portfolio. It'll be great. Like people see it, like you try and write it off.
Right. So in your brain, you're like, well, this could be what propels me forward. And it might be. So hear us out that we're not saying don't do anything for the exposure.
Mm-hmm.
What we're saying is be careful.
Yeah.
Maybe set some parameters on what your limit is.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you open that door, where does it close?
Yeah.
Right. Once you open that door, do they just keep piling more onto you just so you get more exposure?
Mm-hmm.
And you may be okay with that because it may be paying off for you.
Mm-hmm.
But just make sure that whatever you're doing for that exposure, you do have a cutoff so that it doesn't take you away from whatever you're trying to do with your business, whatever your goals are.
Yeah. So here's an example. I have an example of this, like where you can set a framework. So like we've done work before for charities.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it we've done completely for free. Others we've done at a discount. But we're very clear. We're like, this is what we're doing. Like, okay, our monthly services are typically this, but because, we're in the time we have time to work on this. We changed it for a price and we agreed on that price, and like that will be what it is ongoing, but if we weren't clear on that and we didn't have like a good relationship with that business, like that could have been potentially bad. Like they could have just had expectations, and I think that's what you were going to get at is setting the expectation early on that this is what's happening now, and that's it,
Yeah, I mean, with the caveat that if the exposure that you are getting is paying off, then by all means keep doing whatever you need to do with that particular person. It's just when you open the door, you just got to be careful. Just be careful. And I think that's what we're trying to get at is not that you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And some people are like, heck no, I'm not doing that at all. I'm just going to stick with it. Yeah, I'll do it for you, but this is what it's going to cost. And I think that's another good way to do it, and just say, hey, I'll cut if you need to pay the bills, because hopes and dreams don't pay bills, right? So dollar bills pay dollar bills pays the bills, right? So it's the only way it works. Excuse me. And I think it's exactly what you just said just a few minutes ago. If you can figure out how to put a price tag on it that you feel comfortable with, and also add in the exposure.
Yeah.
Because then it's like you're both getting something. Because then what happens if you do the work and the exposure doesn't work?
Yeah.
Right. Or they don't follow through with it, or the leads they have, or the people they're going to put in touch with you or expose you to isn't your ideal customer. Well, you just did a bunch of work for free for nothing. So the only person who wins in that equation is the person you did the work for.
Yeah, the person who got the work.
Right. So you got to make sure it's something that's profitable for both of you. So I think if the ideal customer is who they're going to expose you to, maybe you do it for free. But if you know that it might take some work, or if you're like, hey, listen, I do have some clients that I got to continue to work on. And I also know that I have some overhead that I got to cover. So if you can help me cover this much here, meet me here, I'll do this. Here's the parameters for that. Let's go forward. And I think you'd be surprised. Most people would understand, like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we can work with that. And I think if anybody balks at that, and you explain yourself of like, I really need to make sure that I get paid, and I'm not saying that your stuff isn't important or anything like that. I just need to make sure I get some stuff covered on my end so that I feel comfortable doing this.
Right.
If they are so adamant about, no, I'm not paying you anything, if it's either exposure or nothing, walk away from that. Like that seems like a massive red flag.
Yeah, then you're just being taken advantage of. I think there's one thing that probably listeners are dealing with, and you will always deal with this. It's like the question of how do I charge a friend? And it's like,
or family,
yeah. And so like, I feel like for acquaintances, it's like a 50-50 gamble. Like, oh, okay, yeah, like we were buddies in college, or you were a friend of a friend in college. Like, I know you. Like, I know you. I've spoken to you before.
I mean, like in our case, you still charge me for things.
Yeah, but I charge you better rate. Well, when I did some artwork for
that's true.
For
Terry, my wife.
Yeah, well, I was trying to think of those the like the learning materials that she does.
Yeah,
like the teaching materials. Yeah, so I did some work for that. But like when your kid asked me to draw stuff, I'm not gonna charge. Although I should charge her for like in the form payment of like baked goods, because I was really jealous when she had her bake stand and I didn't get anything.
She'll do it for you. Hey, we're creating a website for her.
Yeah. But yeah. So I mean, I think it's okay to charge friends because they recognize. I think if it's a good friend, they recognize the fact that you are actually doing the work. So like, so yeah, I charge friends, but I also do a lot of stuff for free too. You know what I mean? So, but I think it's also super important for you to go, do I even have time to do this? Because I think for me, I have the tendency to just say yes to like everything.
Yeah.
Because I have like this thing where I don't want to let anybody down. And I'm like, oh man,
what does Jennifer always say? No is a complete sentence.
Yeah, no is a complete sentence. I'm not good at that though. But yeah, because I just want to help people. But I think it's important to guard yourself. But I also think like, if you're gonna charge, don't charge a buddy full price. I mean, this is just opinion, right? I wouldn't charge anybody full price though. That's like a friend of mine. Because like, it's like, hey, I want to see you succeed. Like there's like, cause I feel like there's like it's like a mutually beneficial thing. So like, you need something for like for your work or for your project or something like that. And you're running a business and you need some help, and I am able to help you I would love to see you succeed. I also need to pay my bills. And I think that's what it comes down to. It's like, my time is worth a little something, and I would like to, I would like to make sure that I'm getting something out of it because I'm spending time working on it. You know what I mean?
Oh
And I
yeah.
think in those scenarios, like what you were talking about, setting the expectation and being like, hey, listen, I don't have time to work on this right now. I can help you with it. And I can probably give you a couple hours a week to help you out. And I think as long as you set that expectation, like a friend would be there to help you. And again, I think when it comes to friends, make sure that you charge a little something. Yeah, sure, you can do stuff for free, but I think it's important for the relationship that they respect you enough to help you out because you're helping them out. You know what I mean? So that's my viewpoint. What do you think?
I agree. I think that what we said just a few minutes ago, be honest, because I had a
Yeah.
friend of mine who was a photographer, and he's a very talented photographer, and he had some shots of Atlanta that I wanted to use for a marketing campaign
Mhm.
for a client that didn't have much of a budget at all. So I was trying to find some free images. So I thought, well, let me just ask him how do you charge. Now he charged a lot, but I also know his regular rates are
Yeah.
for that, and he, I mean, he said, I hate to do this, but I need to charge this. I normally charge this, and I'm like, it's really high.
Yeah. And again,
But
that's helping you out, but it's also helping the client out. And like in that scenario, see, that's an even different scenario because they're doing it to help you out, and that in turn helps your client. And so it's like this chain effect. But like he didn't have to do that because technically
right,
you're just a business going to his business saying, "Hey, can I use your stuff?" And he was being nice and helped you out because you're a buddy.
well, we were going to do it, but the client, it was too much for them to want to spend. So,
Yeah.
um, but at the end, I think that yes, I agree with you. Like,
Hmm.
charge something. Um,
Yeah. Because I think it validates the whole thing, and because I feel like you feel because because there's a reason behind it because it's like at the end of the day you feel like you got something out of it because especially when you're doing work for friends and acquaintances and things like that, you don't want to feel like you got you know railroaded or the short end of the stick. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you do a project for somebody, you either do it for really cheap or free in some cases, but when you do it for the actual transaction, whether you're bartering or whatever, because we've done that with other friends who have different businesses that we could both benefit from. But like when you exchange that good or service, it feels like, okay, well, I did this for them and I'm actually getting something back. And I think
mhm.
it can help to stop any future animosity because I feel like that could be a potential sticking point. And I would hate to have a friendship that is lost because you had business mixed in there and you didn't really know what to charge, you know how to do it, and you didn't want to charge too much, and you're like, oh, well, is it free? Like that's a lot of work I'm gonna have to do. So I think you charge something. It goes a long way.
Yeah, 100%. So
Yeah.
I think you're right. Well, I think that kind of covers everything. I just be careful. To sum it all up,
Yeah.
you have to make the decision whether to do something for exposure or not.
Hmm.
But I hope that some of the scenarios and some of our experience of charge something is usually
Hmm.
better than just taking something for free. Because I feel like once you open that door to do something for free, where's
Yeah.
that line? What
Yeah.
line? If you do something for free,
Poop.
if you do something for free, set the boundaries very clear,
Hmm.
saying like,
Hmm.
I can do it up into this point, and after that, this is what it's going to cost you, or this is what it's going to take after that.
Right.
And if you set that boundary, then I think you're fine.
Yeah. It's hard to move anywhere from free. It's like, well,
Yeah,
last time it was free. So just protect yourself. That's the biggest thing. Is just make sure that you're looking out for yourself.
I agree.
Good deal. Well,
Awesome. Make sure
until
you
next
like,
time,
yeah, make sure you like, subscribe all of our social channels,
all the
um,
things.
all the things that we have going on. We'd love for you guys to join our group and join what we're building here with Hustle Machine. So
Exactly. Okay, let's hit it out. Boom. 3,
Later.
2, 1.